Good morning, folks. Hope you're well, hope you're safe. Welcome to this video on hacking websites. So without further ado, I shall shrink myself into the corner and let's have a look at what we're going to be doing. So, first thing, what's hacking? Well, Hollywood TV have a fairly strong view of what hackers are and what they do. This character on the right here may be familiar to some of you. It's a very interesting TV show. I'm quite fond of it. And if you've watched it, well, you'll probably have an idea of what hacking is as well. As demonstrated in that show and other films and TV shows, hacking can be used to break the law. Hacking can be something where people break into things and look at things they shouldn't and steal things or stuff like that. However, hacking is a lot more than that. It is a more general term than that, and it is often used for good and legal purposes. And that is certainly what I would encourage anybody thinking of getting into hacking to do. A computer hacker is a skilled computer expert who uses their technical knowledge to overcome a problem. If you are a computer student of mine in particular, you will have heard me say that the thing I love about computer science, about programming, is that it teaches you how to solve problems. So, when we talk about hackers, we have two types of hacker. We have the good hackers, the white hats, and the evil hackers, the black hats. That's a very generalistic, binary interpretation. There are, of course, people who are a bit of each, and what's sometimes known as grey hat hackers, but we won't go into that today. Black hat hackers, which is incredibly hard to say, use their abilities for their own nefarious purposes. So it might be getting money, it might be getting people to do what they want. It's not good stuff usually, and they often end up breaking the law and going to prison. It is very easy to catch a bad hacker who is doing naughty things. There is a famous gentleman by the name of Kevin Mitnick, who is well worth reading up and watching videos about. He's an interesting character. He was a hacker in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and these days I think he's a consultant and he gets paid a lot of money to do good with his skills, having spent a lot of time in prison because of the FBI. So, very interesting character. Go and find out about him. On the other side, we have the white hat hacker. That is hard to say. They are ethical hackers. Ethical meaning that they try and do good. They try and do something for the greater good. Quite often, these sorts of hackers get paid by companies to help sort their security out. They go in and they test it, and they, with permission, try and break into the systems to see if there's any security flaws. And that's a very good job. There's a lot of demand for that, and yeah, something to consider as a career if it interests you. Sometimes they use their skills to expose wrongdoing, so you may have seen things in the news where some things have been revealed about politicians or companies doing naughty things, and sometimes hackers get involved in that because they believe they're doing something right. Bit of a grey area. They could get into trouble for that if they are breaking the law, but they are doing it for good. They are trying to do something for good. They're not just being naughty. They're not being black hats. Right. Why would we want to learn about hacking? Well, let's put it in this analogy. If you learn a martial art like karate or kung fu or anything like that, you are usually learning it to defend yourself. You are usually learning it so that if somebody attacks you, you will understand their attack, you will understand their thinking and their actions, and you will be able to protect yourself against it. And that's exactly why we can learn about hacking and why that's useful. We learn to defend ourselves against hacking attacks by understanding how they work. For example, passwords. We know that passwords are something that people like to crack and get so that they can do things with our accounts. Some of us have had experience of people breaking into our accounts. We had somebody break into our Spotify account a couple of years ago. They must have got the password from somewhere, something like that. But by understanding that hackers use certain techniques, so they use dictionary files. This is a big list of words or common passwords that people use. By the way, most common password that people use is password 123. So if any of your passwords are password 123, can I suggest you change them quickly? Another way that hackers hack is using a brute force attack, where they create a computer program, or they use a computer program to just try every single combination of letters, numbers and characters. That can take longer, but it does work in many cases. So going on that, learning that about hackers, we understand now that using a password with a short length is not a good idea. By short length, these days we usually say 8 characters or less is a bit short and a bit easy to crack. You could get that in a few seconds on some computers. Using obvious names or words like password 123 is a terrible idea, and it makes it very easy for our accounts to be hacked. So we've already learnt something about hackers, how they work, and we've already learnt a way to protect ourselves, so you understand why this is a good thing that we're doing. Also, hacking is thinking outside the box to solve problems. I love solving problems. I think we know that by now. And this is a great way to do it. It involves using technology in different ways. So you might take something, take it apart and use it to solve a problem that the person who invented it or created it hadn't thought of. 2 TV shows here to look up sometime. One is MacGyver and one is the A-Team. In my view, some of the finest hacking in the 80s was done by these guys. Okay, so look them up later. That's MacGyver on the left and the A-Team on the right. Enjoy. Right, back to our lesson. We're going to do some website hacking. We are going to look at the code behind websites, which is called HTML. Stands for Hypertext Markup Language. You don't need to remember that, but you can look it up yourself. We can look at the code behind any website very easily. It's actually available to us in a normal web browser like Google Chrome or Microsoft Explorer. We can just look at the source code, and we can also inspect the bits of the page using a thing called the element inspector to look at different bits of a website. Now, easiest way to demonstrate that, I'm going to go to the BBC website. I'm going to check my broadcast is playing the BBC website. It is, and we've got a little site I loaded up earlier on, the weather site here. So if I right click this, I get some options. Is that appearing on my browser? I don't know. You get a little menu. I'm assuming it's appearing on my browser because I can't see it right now. But if I go to view page source, you should see the code appears for that web page. And that is the code behind that page, making it look like it is. And there's lots and lots and lots of it. And it's, for a big website like the BBC, it can be quite confusing. If you know what you're looking for, you can find some interesting stuff. And in some websites, there may well be something in there that is a security flaw and that can help me break into that website were I to want to do such a thing. And if I wanted to do that to the BBC, I'd be pretty stupid because I'd probably get in a lot of trouble. However, we can have some fun with this on our computers and not get into trouble by looking at Inspect Element. So if we right click again and go to Inspect, we get this box on the right. Now, I can click on anything on the page now and do Inspect. So I'm going to use the UK summary. And if I open this up, you'll see the text that appears on that page. And this is a bit of fun, and I've seen kids do this at school and claim that they've hacked the internet. It's just on my computer, so it's perfectly legal. Parents, I'm going to change that to something else. So today there will be a shower of frogs and the sky will turn green. Once that has finished, there will be some clouds shaped like... when you're trying to be random, it's very hard, isn't it? Like hedgehogs. I'm just being silly here. Boom. There you go. So today there will be a shower of frogs and the sky will turn green. Once that is finished, there will be some clouds shaped like hedgehog. There you go. I've changed the weather for today. And I can change the other elements on that page in a similar way. You can change pictures by doing it. You can do all sorts of naughty things. Fortunately, next time I reload that page, it will go back to normal. So I haven't hacked the BBC and I'm not going to prison. Sorry. Okay, so there's just some examples of things you can try with websites. I'm going to go back to my current slide and see what we've got left to do on here. Here's the good bit, guys. You're going to do some hacking. I have made a website. Again, I own this website. You have my permission to do this. It is perfectly legal. and you're going to go to codingcoach.co.uk/hacker challenge, and you have to do a task. It is all fictional, none of it is real, nobody is going to prison. But if I go to this web page and click here, so level 1, I have to find the username and password. There's a hint at the bottom of the page that says may the source be with you, with view. So if I view the source, somewhere in this code here there's going to be the solution. All you've got to do is look for it. Once you've done that, go to the next page, do level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, collect those usernames and passwords, send them to me by email, yatesl@dccacademy.org.uk, and I'll tell you how you got on. Okay, have fun doing that, and remember, it's good to be interested in things, but don't do anything illegal. Keep it good, okay? Use your powers for good, not evil. Okay, take care. See you soon.